Hi, Dr. LeNoir. How are you?
I'm good, China. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So, as you know, we're having this conversation because you're a living legend in the digital communication space and a champion for health equity. We're both members of the Digital Health for Equitable Health Alliance, which was created to bring together multi-sector stakeholders, leaders, and advocates to promote a more digitally inclusive and accessible society that transforms health delivery for underserved populations. So, welcome again. I'd like to ask you a few questions that will be used to share across our media platforms to honor you. Is that okay?
It absolutely is. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, I would like for you to just tell us about yourself.
I am a practicing allergist and pediatrician and have been for over 40 years. Very early in my career, I understood the possibility of reaching more people with information about health if I used the media. So I started out at a small Black radio station, ultimately became the medical editor of KCBS Radio in San Francisco and for Pacifica Radio in Berkeley. And throughout my career, I've tried to evolve with the technology. Originally, obviously, we were doing radio. Then we did TV and had some 3,700 stations across the country. And then ultimately came social media, and I've tried to evolve into that space as well.
That's pretty amazing. Dr. LeNoir, why is health equity a passion?
Well, I think it's the lack of health equity that's my passion,
Okay.
because I have learned through the years that there are certain populations whose health outcome status is very different from the rest of America. And that gap represents equity. And so African American communities are really, if you look at from the cradle to the grave, they are less likely to have positive outcomes for almost any chronic disease. And that gap between African Americans and the rest of America represents equity. And I'm on a campaign and a mission to bring that back and to regain the equity that we are entitled to, deserve, and must have.
Thank you. So one of the things that you didn't mention when you talked about yourself, which I know, is that you are the president and founder of the African American Wellness Project. Am I correct?
You're absolutely correct. That project was founded out of the sense of rage that I had about the fact that Black people were not treated equally. You know, there are two parts to the healthcare story as it relates to equity. There's something called health equity, and there's something called healthcare equity. And what I recognize is that even at the deficit we face with health equity, that means we don't have the same social determinants that would give us good health. That means diet, exercise, violence, poverty, all of those things that contribute to health on the outside. On the inside, once we get into the system, we're not treated fairly. And so the African American Wellness Project was designed to give people the opportunity to understand the barriers that they face as minorities, people of color, when they enter the healthcare system, and how to deal with those barriers.
Okay. And I have a question about AAWP. How does it support policies and initiatives that provide access to digital health technology designed to mitigate existing and potential barriers to high quality care?
Well, I think we've had to learn as we've gone along. We've had to learn how to use social media, using Facebook and LinkedIn and TikTok and Instagram to reach people with messages. And messagings have to have certain characteristics. They have to be directive, they have to be reasonably brief, and they have to be to the point. So we've tried to learn that. In addition, we've learned about digital targeting, how we can use the digital media to reach the kind of populations that we need to reach. We recognize that our biggest group of followers are Black women, women between the ages of 24 and 60. And so consequently, we have understood how to reach those as a unique target audience so that we're not wasting a lot of band space around issues or on targets that are not interested in the messages or don't need the messages that we have.
Thank you. So I do also know that Monique LeNoir, your daughter, is executive director of AAWP. And on our website, Digital Health for Equitable Health Alliance, she has a quote and I'm going to read it. It states that the African American Wellness Project works to improve the health of the African American community by serving as a megaphone for trusted information that enables and encourages African Americans to better navigate the healthcare system, advocate for themselves, and receive improved care, regardless of insurance or circumstances. Can you elaborate on that for me? What does the African American Wellness Project do to focus on health disparities?
Well, there's a lot of information out there about various aspects of African American health. What we try to do is to be a true, vetted, and honest broker of that information. We not only try to deal with the day-to-day issues around common health problems, but we try to alert the African American community when there are new issues that impact on us as a community. So consequently, we try to be in front of the news, in the news, and behind the news. But certainly we know people who know us and have come to experience our platforms appreciate the fact that we're always open, we're always honest, we're always transparent, and we always give them as much information as we can about a particular issue as it relates to Black American health.
That's good. Can you tell me your thoughts on the role of digital health in healthcare? And again, specifically health equity, or in your case, as you like to say, the lack of health equity.
Well, I think that what digital allows us to do is to reach a large number of people with a targeted message without having to leave the warmth and comfort of your own home. When I first started in radio, we had to go down to the studio, we had to tape, we have to cut and splice, tape together. Now with the digital technology, we can reach, not only can we reach people, but people, African Americans, have more digital devices than any other ethnic group. And so that is the way they get information. And we want to have impact. If we want to make change, we want to make a difference, we have to reach people where they are. And right now, most people, certainly younger people, and now not just younger people, but older people, have to unfortunately include myself in that group, are using digital technology to get much of their information. And it's an efficient, effective way to communicate directly with people in a more personal way.
Absolutely. So, Dr. LeNoir, I know that sometimes you're up at night thinking about different issues and problems. I'd like for you to tell our audience what keeps you up at night, because you've had this stellar career and you're still going strong. But what is there left for you to do?
Well, what's funny is that what goes around comes around. I still see the same complaints from African Americans about how they're treated in the healthcare system. Often it's because of the barriers that they face, unconscious bias on the part of not only physicians, but physician staffs, with lack of information and the inability to structure advocates for them in the system. And so I see the same exact problems that I saw 20 years ago, which means we have a lot of work to do to convince people that they need to understand the system better in order to get the kind of care that they need and deserve.
I'm so impressed by your passion, your vigor, your dedication to the African American population. I'm so delighted that we've had this opportunity to talk. Before we wrap, is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience?
Well, I'd like to share the fact that in the African American Wellness Project, I've had a chance to work with some terrific people who volunteered more than their time to help us get this project going. And certainly you, Dr. Hosley, is a part of that group, is that we have had a dedicated, consistent, effective, and efficient group of people working pretty much day and night for very little reimbursement or thank you to get this message out, that we are a place, at the African American Wellness Project, AAWellnessproject.org, we are a place where you can go to get trusted, vetted information about symptoms, about health, and about health-related issues related to the Black community. So I would say thank you to my staff and thank you to the people who have agreed to work with us to make this project effective and sustainable and successful, I might say.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. It's such a privilege and honor to work alongside you. And I'm sure that everyone else that works in the organization can concur with those sentiments.
I'm not sure about that, but I hope I'm getting better.
Yes. You beat me to the punch where you mentioned your website, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to share social media handles, or how can we get in contact with you if we needed to?
I think the best way is go to our website at www.aawellnessproject.org. That's www.aawellnessproject.org. And listen for our podcast at Black Doctors Speak. That's Black Doctors Speak. And look for our Facebook Live programs both on YouTube and on blackdoctor.org, and on our own website at the African American Wellness Project website on Facebook.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor and a privilege to chat with you. Dr. Michael LeNoir, thank you for making time for me. I know it was your birthday recently. You've been traveling, taking care of business, but I'm so happy that we were able to get this time in.
And I'm so happy that we're a member of the Digital Coalition. Hey, remember, health is your biggest asset, so protect it.
Yes. Thank you.